Station 3, no sight of her.
Hold it.
I can't quite grasp why you even bother, knowing this is just another simulation.
Hi everybody, Dr. Mennel here. I've done several reports about this program I really like called Person of Interest, and it exposes a lot of the Orwellian surveillance state that is presently going on in our country, United States of America, and actually around the world, China also. But this one caught my attention because of the coronavirus that is going around right now, and this deals with a pandemic virus that is putting people in a lockdown, quarantine situation. So I thought it would be pretty interesting to go over some of the highlights within the program and notice how the script in the show is very similar to the script that they're telling us right now to the general public and to the sheeple. Particular episode was aired May 24th, 2016. So they probably wrote the script on it the year before. So it's amazing how all this applies to what's going on today. Let's go ahead and watch some of these clips here and you'll find it pretty interesting.
You can't stop what's coming.
It took an ASI to create this virus, and now it's gonna take another one to cure it. Hang in there, Harry.
I failed. I was only able to reach one of the targets.
No worries. The mission was a success.
I don't get it.
How did your arm feel, Jeff? A little sore?
Am I gonna get sick?
Do you know why you were selected? Because of your genetic markers. You're what scientists call an elite controller.
Elite controller?
Some elite controllers contract HIV, but never develop AIDS. Others are immune to Ebola. Your genetic markers ensure that you will never contract any strain of avian flu.
This is why you selected me for this mission.
That and the survival skills you demonstrated in prison.
Why'd kill that doctor and nurse?
Sometimes you have to throw out a few rotten apples to save the lot.
How many apples? And who gets to decide who stays and who goes? You?
After the news broke of a deadly outbreak, the CDC recommended everyone get tested so the government could identify those who need to be vaccinated by evaluating their genetic markers.
Next. You're collecting everyone's DNA.
After 9/11, people were more than willing to allow the NSA to collect all of their personal data, as long as it kept them safe. And now everyone will be safe from another threat. Only this time, it will be disease instead of terrorism.
What do you plan to do with all this data?
We're going to ensure that everyone has the same opportunity as you, Jeff. The opportunity to live up to their full potential. It's a simple calculation. Once everyone's DNA is stored in the National Healthcare Database, then they just need to be sorted.
Sorted? In order to accomplish what?
To get us through the next great filter, of course.
What filter is that?
Our own savage history.
Scientists and experts in Singapore are working with counterparts from 50 other countries to develop a global DNA database that can help hospitals identify diseases faster and more accurately.
And experts who are gathered for a 4-day conference here say that with such a system, countries can also better control human and animal diseases. And the comment comes on the back of several food poisoning cases in Singapore.
And with the global increase in air travel, experts say the database can also be useful in monitoring and controlling the spread of infectious diseases.
There was a lot of discussion between countries saying, okay, but there is an urgency because we see these global threats, you know, and the only way that you can really deal with global threats is you work together between the different countries, and you have a system so you can compare if the avian flu in Singapore is the same as the one in Copenhagen or it's a different one. You know, so when we have this methodology, we're saying we should really use it in a global way. because that would be good for the world, but it would also be good for all countries, including, by the way, developing countries. And we have a lot of people from developing countries at this meeting here, supported by WHO and FAO, the World Health Organization, and Food and Agriculture Organization.
We will soon be facing the greatest threat mankind has ever known, as we are feeding and nurturing the monster of our own destruction.
On the left, you see the double duplex helix DNA. Every man and woman born the correct way has double helix DNA. That includes 44 base pairs, or 44 autosomes, what you call them. The 45th and 46 are an X and a Y, which determine the sex of a human being. So that the makeup of a human being now is 46 chromosomes total, but base pairs is what we're dealing with. On the right is what they're trying to do, the elite are trying to do, is develop and add another 22 strands of nanotechnology to the double helix to form a triple helix, to be controlled right through the middle of that double helix DNA. They want to add that. So also, to get to 666, you have to calculate it and count it. Every scripture revolving around the mark of the beast has to be calculated, has to be counted, and it says, let the reader understand. So it's not going to be just a 666 stamp on a t-shirt somewhere or on an RFID chip. It's way deeper than that. Of what I'm talking and what I'm showing you is you have to calculate. So 322. And I've told you how the elites do math. They look at things differently. They're taught things differently with numbers, symbols, all of that. 322. 3 times 22 is 66. 6 times 6, 36. 3 sixes, 36. 3 6. 666. That's it.
Introducing Droid DNA by HTC. It's not an upgrade to your phone, it's an upgrade to yourself.
Hey Siri, do I have coronavirus?
A few questions can help you understand your situation. Ready to begin?
More and more tech companies are stepping up to fight the virus, from wearables to contact tracing to developing at-home kits. Of course, these inventions do not replace safety precautions, nor are they intended to be a fix-all, but technology can make a difference in combating the virus spread. For one, Apple and Google are teaming up to build a contact tracing feature for their phones, which would use Bluetooth to track physical proximity between phones, and hence their users. This would all be on an opt-in basis. So if you're one of the users who tested positive for COVID-19, you could report it through the app, and then users who were in recent contact with you would get a notification. Before you scream concerns of privacy and practicality, the tech giants are working on that, with a beta version available for developers now. Besides contact tracing, Apple is also offering resources to screen your symptoms through its website or through Siri.
Do you have any of the following? Fever, dry cough, or trouble breathing?
But if you're not in the Apple ecosystem and own an Amazon Alexa product,
if you think you have COVID-19, I can ask you a few questions based on CDC guidelines.
You can also ask the voice assistant to play a song for 20 seconds while you wash your hands.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
You get the point. Along with the collection of screening services, there's also been a rise in maps and dashboards. Facebook released a map of people in the United States who have reported COVID-19 symptoms. The data is from surveying more than 1 million anonymous participants, and the map breaks it down by each county. Facebook and Google also developed mobility dashboards, showing how movement has changed in places like supermarkets and transit stations. Wearables have also become popular for earlier health detection. More than 2,000 healthcare workers at the University of California, San Francisco campus have received an Oura Smart Ring. This ring has technology to track changes in body temperature, heart rate, and sleep. The goal is to identify frontline healthcare professionals who may be infected before they become symptomatic. Eventually, researchers hope to gather enough data to develop an algorithm for COVID-19 detection. Artificial intelligence is also assisting frontline healthcare workers. Technology giant Alibaba is using AI to speed up the process of analyzing CT scans. This process normally takes up to 15 minutes. Alibaba says the AI shortens it to a max of about 10 seconds, and in mid-March said it had already analyzed over 240,000 CT scans while maintaining a 96% accuracy rate. This technology has been tested in hospitals in China, and Alibaba hopes to expand its usage to Europe. 23andMe is also conducting research of its own, a genetic study, of course. Its goal is to obtain over 1 million responses and analyze genetic factors that might be associated with COVID-19, to understand why some experience more severe symptoms than others. This research will also consider non-genetic factors like age, obesity, pregnancy, and prior exposure. Other tests that will slowly come to the market are at-home kits. Everlywell has been doing at-home kits for many health concerns, from fertility tests to allergy tests to HIV tests. Its latest COVID-19 at-home test is not yet available to the general public, but it is working with the FDA to meet guidelines, and is offering bulk order options to hospitals and healthcare providers. The way these at-home tests would work is you'd take an online questionnaire to see if you qualify to receive a kit. Once approved, this $135 kit will be mailed to you. Within 48 hours of the lab getting your sample, you'll get your results digitally. If the results are positive, there's telehealth available to inform you on next steps.
Congratulations.
Well, what about the interview?
That was it.
I got it.
Of course you got it.
And that's the way it was. Each day I would dispose of as much loose skin, fingernails, and hair as possible to limit how much of my invalid self I would leave in the valid world. At the same time, Eugene prepared samples of his own superior body matter so that I might pass for him. Customized urine pouches for the frequent substance tests, fingertip blood sachets for security checks, and vials filled with other traces. While Eugene supplied me with a new identity, I paid the rent and kept him in the style to which he'd become accustomed. Eugene never suffered from the routine discrimination of a utero, a faith birth, or invalid, as we were called. A valid, a vitro, a made man. He suffered under a different burden, the burden of perfection. I was now a member of a relatively new and particularly detested segment of society. One of those who refuses to play the hand that he was dealt. I am most commonly known as a borrowed ladder, or a degenerate.
You have to calculate it, you have to count it. And this is the abomination that's put in the temple. Once you figure out where the temple is, it's not a building over in Israel. God does not dwell in a physical building. That is scriptural, Christians, or anybody. If you understand that about the Creator, we are the temple. And once you understand what the enemy is up to and they're after, then it all comes together of why the chemtrails in the sky, why genetically modified food. Everything that they're doing is killing us slowly, making us obsolete, an obsolete man.
He has been called the rightful heir to Thomas Edison. His new book is entitled The Singularity is Near, when humans transcend biology.
I read your book, some of the most frightening and yet hopeful stuff I've ever read.
Ray Kurzweil is a pioneer in the field of artificial intelligence.
He's an award-winning scientist and engineer, a millionaire several times over because of his invention.
He's the holder of 24 patents.
Ray Kurzweil
was chief inventor of the flatbed scanner.
A reading machine for the blind, Kurzweil keyboard synthesizer.
This guy is freaky. Bill Gates has called him the best in the world at predicting the future.
When Ray Kurzweil makes a prediction, lots of folks listen.
He predicted the collapse of the Soviet Union, described the rise of the internet, and foretold the year a computer would beat a chess champion.
According to Ray, you're going to have relationships with machines.
Computers will have consciousness in just 25 years.
Kurzweil sees a day when microscopic computers will make all kinds of learning as easy as downloading.
You're saying millions of tiny computers floating around in my head?
Fundamentally, you're talking about tampering with humankind.
Inventor Ray Kurzweil thinks that one day humans may be able to live forever.
We come back to this book, to the singularity is near. What does singularity mean?
When you say the singularity is coming, what does that mean exactly?
And that's what you mean by the term singularity?
What is singularity?
Singularity is a future period which technological change will be so rapid and its impact so profound that every aspect of human life will be irreversibly transformed.
There won't be a clear distinction between humans and machines.
Our computers are not going to be these rectangular devices we put in our pocket. They're going to be inside our bodies and brains, and we're going to be a hybrid of biological and non-biological intelligence. If you go back 500 years, not much happened in a century. Now a lot happens in 6 months. Technology feeds on itself and it gets faster and faster. In about 40 years, the pace of change is going to be so astonishingly quick that you won't be able to follow it unless you enhance your own intelligence by merging with the intelligent technology we're creating. So that's such a profound transformation that we've borrowed this metaphor from physics and call that a singularity.
So let me read this, Matthew 24:16. So when you see standing in the holy place, where's the holy place? That's the key. Where's the holy place? Is it a building? Is it somewhere? No, we are the holy place. We are the temple. So when you see standing in the holy place, the abomination of desolation. Desolation means it cannot dwell there anymore. It can't go there. Described by the prophet Daniel. Notice it says, let the reader understand. So this means it's not going to be that easy. It's let the reader understand what the prophet Daniel said about this right here. So let's go to Daniel 2:4-3. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Notice that. Something is mixing with men. So whatever's mixing is not man-made. Okay? So iron, I've said this before, followers have followed me for years. Iron is technology. Clay is from God. Clay, flesh. Iron and clay. There's a kingdom coming that will not cleave together. Alright? That's the key of what's coming. You need to find out and know what is the illusion and what is real. Is the iron and clay kingdom is man merging with machine, because the machine and the technology is not from God. It's from the fallen. It's from nothing godly. It is the wrong information, good and evil being mixed together. See, some of these illusions, it's hard for people to believe them because they just can't wrap their heads around that conspiracy theories are not theories anymore. I'm going to share something with you and then you decide, and I'll connect the dots, and you tell me if it's just a coincidence. Look up adrenochrome. Adrenochrome, ADRENOCHROME. It's an hallucinant drug suspected to have been used in Project MK Ultra. Does that sound familiar to any of you? Mind control. for years and years out there. This drug is the basis of what they use for mind control. Also, it's also hypothesized to play a role in the development of schizophrenia in adults, multiple personalities. Okay? Now, let me connect the dot. Did you know in 2008, Google, they rolled out Chrome, their browser. But then, later, 2009, they purchased a GPU, which is the graphics processing unit, and they renamed it Adreno. So, put that together. Their CPUs that they're using in their machines are the GPU, Adreno, and their browser is Chrome. Adreno Chrome. You think that's a coincidence? Mind control. Things that they recommend, things they send out to you, whatever. It's a form of mind control. Adreno Chrome.
These technology leaps are going to yield incredible miracles and incredible horrors.
We created it. So I think as we move forward, this intelligence will contain parts of us. And I think the question is, will it contain the good parts or the bad parts?
Hey, what's up guys? Gons here for the Face Like the Sun channel. Just a quick update for you. Donald Trump tweeted out this morning, I want 5G, even 6G technology in the United States as soon as possible. It is far more powerful, faster, and smarter than the current standard. American companies must step up their efforts or get left behind. There is no reason that we should be lagging behind on something that is so obviously the future. I want the US to win through competition, not by blocking out currently more advanced technologies. We must always be the leader in everything we do, especially when it comes to the very exciting world of technology. Now, last week we talked about Trump's techno-populism, and this tweet absolutely confirms that we are under a techno-populist movement here. There are legitimate concerns for Trump that are not the concerns that are being pushed out there by the mainstream media, and so I think we just have to stay level-headed with that, be objective about what is happening with this country. And the technocracy is here, and Trump is leading the way.
And this article here really is kind of remarkable, really, when you see what it leads to. Because this blockchain stuff, this was the hope of the free world, to have a reliable and secure, separate means of commerce without being regulated into oblivion by this overreaching banking cabal that basically runs the world. So this is now hackable.
Because of the way the government auctions off our wireless spectrum, U.S. consumers pay a lot more for wireless data than anybody else in the world, and the president wants to change that. He also wants to use these changes in parceling out spectrum in a way that's going to help us lead the way in 5G technology. The president tweeted out earlier today, I want 5G and even 6G technology in the U.S. as soon as possible. It is far more powerful, faster, and smarter than the current standard. Loop Ventures managing partner Gene Munster joins us now. So, Gene, as simply as possible, because this isn't very easy, but make it simple. Can the president combine lower internet costs while putting us in the lead for 5G?
Unlikely to provide lower internet costs, is likely to help accelerate the rollout of 5G. And David, if I can quickly talk about that, is that there's this auction process that you talked about. It's complicated today. The government runs that auction process. What that means is this is the tower companies and the carriers getting spectrum to provide this service. So there's a way that the government can make that easier, which will help get these licenses, which help kind of roll out. There's also a hardware piece to this, which the government maybe can help facilitate and fast track, and maybe even give some financial incentives to the tower companies to build 5G. But as far as the ability to actually lower internet costs, the way that that could happen is this, is right now your cable company really has you. And it is difficult for either a cable or your DSL provider for you to find another way to get internet. It's this duopoly type of an approach. So there's a lot of control around pricing. But 5G is fast. It's wicked fast. It's somewhere between 10 and 100 times faster than current 4G, and would be faster than your home network today. And where the opportunity to lower pricing comes from just simply more competition from these carriers, like, for example, Verizon and AT&T will be offering you broadband wireless service, and you get rid of that router at home and just run from the cloud.
This is crazy. I mean, the chains. Immediately when I see this, right, it causes me to think of DNA. And what is DNA comprised of? It's a molecule that's composed of two chains, carrying the genetic instructions of life, right? So this once unhackable blockchain is now hackable. You see what I'm saying? Now, you got to understand that what the world is looking at is a DNA ID database. This is just the way it is. They just kind of floated a law in Arizona that didn't go through, but nonetheless, they floated it. And so this is what's coming, is my point. And all this craziness we see in like the markets and the economy and everything is completely and utterly fake, and it's all going to collapse. And the new system eventually is going to require a DNA sample for your positive identification. Okay? And this all ties into the 5G, because this type of technology will literally be able to manipulate your reality. One of the highest goals, stated goals, is to enhance the virtual reality and augmented reality. And if you read this, it's just unbelievable. This will be literally manipulating brainwaves. I'm just telling you, this is how it's going to work. And there is no way to escape it but one, and it's Jesus Christ. However, if you look into things, this article just came out today. Just today. But it's a real thing. You can vet this out. They're doing this. Okay? They're controlling with just simple thoughts and technology, of course, wirelessly controlling these rats. And you know as well as I do, if we were able to, take a walk deep underground, we would see all kinds of things, many of which would probably make us want to die. Because these are the things not only that they're doing, but have been doing for a very long time. These things are all in place. And when the hammer drops, it's going to drop. That's all I can tell you. And this is linked to the DNA. This is a spiritual war playing out in the natural world. That's what you're seeing. Okay? The blockchain technology is no more secure. So they're already setting up the whole system for it. The United States is key in helping China set up its entire system so they can just easily implement it right here at home. And this is what's coming. There's going to be a giant financial calamity, a huge hack of some sort. It's going to cause all kinds of chaos. And the new system that's going to have to be put in place for your safety and security, mind you, will have to include your DNA. And they're already doing this. They've been doing it for a long time. This is just one example of what they've been doing. The one location that they have of 7 freezers the size of a basketball court. They have 7 of those, and they're building more. It says so in here somewhere. With hundreds of millions of samples already. It's literally ready to go. And the chains, I'm telling you, the chains have so much to do with this. Even biblically, okay? And the angels which kept not their first estate. In other words, they came down and mixed themselves with the women and created the men of renown. You know what I'm saying? They left their own habitation, and he's reserved in everlasting chains. Look at that. 1199. Under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. I mean, you got to read this to really fully understand. Okay? There were certain men that crept in unawares. They were before of old ordained to this condemnation. And look at this word, desmon. And that immediately reminded me of that crazy, I hate to even show this stuff, but this is this little kid named Desmond, right? Desmond, okay, that's what we see as the chains, and this kid is illustrating, manifesting the chains put on the flesh. Okay, so if you are not reborn in the spirit, you are literally in chains. Literally, like little Desmond here. I mean, this just goes so deep, you guys, I can't even begin to tell you.
Welcome to your future.
Showmanship and theatrics. When a magician waves his hand and says, "This is where the magic is happening," the real trick is happening somewhere else. Misdirection, a basic concept of magic.
Call it magic. Call it true. Call it magic. When I'm with you, and I just got broken into two. Still I call it magic when I'm next to you. And I don't. No, I don't, it's true. I don't, no, I don't. Want anybody else but you. No, I don't. No, I don't, it's true. I don't, no, I don't. Want anybody else but you.
Hello, this is Nicholson 1968. I hope you're enjoying my latest project, Artificial Intelligence, the Obsolete Man. Probably wondering right now, what does a Celine Dion commercial pushing gender-neutral baby and kids clothes have to do with artificial intelligence? Well, it has to do everything with it. It is a stepping stone to get towards technology rolling out on a different level, not just machinery, computers, all of that. It is merging man and machine. But before you get to that, things have to be put in place. To get from A to D, you have to roll out B and C. You cannot immediately go there. The ultimate goal is transhumanism, the merging of man and machine. But before I go there with the Celine Dion commercial and really break it down for you guys, I'm going to read an article to you. It just came out this year. It's from the European Union that rolled this out. Gender-neutral language in the European Parliament. And the headline is, EU moves to outlaw phrases such as man-made, manpower, and mankind in favor of gender-neutral terms under the new politically correct guidelines for translators. Okay? I'll read part of the article to you. The European Union has moved to suppress everyday phrases such as manpower, mankind, and replace them with gender-neutral terms. Staff in Strasbourg have been told to reduce references to women or men in a new rule book called Gender Neutral Language in the European Parliament. Now, I'm going to scan down here. I'm not going to bore you with all of this, but it's very important what you're seeing. Here we go, right here. It also recommends the word stewardess by avoiding preference of flight attendant. Here's the kicker. Humanity should replace mankind, and man-made should be substituted for synthetic or artificial. I hope you're understanding that on a deeper level, what's being told to us and how they're putting this out programming. The man-made replace artificial. Sounds, just like a term or that somebody's writing, but it's deeper than that. Is understanding what humanity is about and who we are as mankind. And it's not about this divide and conquer thing that they're trying to push, and man against woman, black against white, all of that stuff. Now, this is to prepare you for transhumanism. You'll be referred to as an it, artificial it, no he, no she, we're just its. And you can put whatever you want into your body, your role, you can play any role that you want, you can become a woman in a man's body, you can become a man in a woman's body, all of that stuff. Transgender is part of the B and C step, or the next step to get to transhuman. You have transgender, then transhuman. That is what is being put forth. And also, the Celine Dion commercial is gender neutral, doing away with the old world and ready for the new world order. I hope you understand that, and I'm going to break it down for you. Most of you are probably familiar with the Celine Dion clothing line that she rolled out in 2018, New. But for you who are new and have not seen anything on it, this is a clothing line that was rolled out by Celine Dion, but the logo tells you a lot. It is a sheep with one eye, and the followers of Christ are sheep. That is mocking the followers. Some may disagree with that, but the sheep with the one eye, what is the symbolism behind it? Is changing the children of God into something else. It is no accident. Look at this one picture. 33. 3 on one shirt, 3 on the other. Direct reference to when Christ was crucified at age 33. Also, Freemasons, symbolism is black and white, dark and light, mixing together good and evil. The one eye symbolism on the pants. See, they do not believe in Christ is the light. They believe Lucifer is the light. And what I've shared many times, and I'll share this for new people who have not seen my videos, is the secret societies. When I say secret societies, I mean Skull and Bones, Rosicrucians, Illuminati, New World Order, name it whatever you want. It's all the same. As they believe the story, this is what they are taught and led to believe, is in the story of Adam and Eve in the garden, that it wasn't until the old serpent Lucifer showed up on the scene, shared knowledge with man, that freed him from the old creator that had him in bondage, and that one day, through man's intellect and knowledge, they could become their own gods. That's what they believe. That's not what I believe. That's what they believe. And this is why they put things in motion, propaganda in your face, and also to communicate with other people around the world that are in these secret societies that are communicating this agenda right here. This is just one piece of it, just a very small piece of it. Notice that the new, that is, the N and the U look the same. It's just a matter of you invert them up or invert them down. So as above, so below. As above, so below. As above, so below. Also referring to the New World Order. Old world, new world.
Project Pi is founded on the belief that every person in the world should have their own digital avatar, one that speaks, thinks, and behaves just like their self. And let me just say up front, I don't think Pi is an evil company or anything like that. I just think the technology that they're developing happens to be extremely prophetic, in that there is a prophecy in Revelation 13 that talks about an image of the beast who had a mortal head wound yet lived, which is a kingdom, but also a man. So there's this counterfeit resurrection. And I think it's really interesting because of some of the things going on now, and how I know a lot of people think Rome is the beast, and it's definitely possible. I know that there are occultists and mystery school teachers and the, esoteric insiders and all that stuff who have been trying to infiltrate all areas of institution. This is a spiritual thing, not just, a doctrine, which it is a doctrine too, the Luciferian doctrine, which of course is, to enlighten humanity. It's all this positive stuff, but it leads to a bitter end because humanity is fallen right now. And God, through Jesus Christ, redeemed us, but of course, man is continuing to try to redeem himself, and that's what technology is all about. So again, I'm not saying Pi is an evil company. I'm saying this type of technology pretty much can be used for the image of the beast if you read Revelation 13, verse 15. And it was allowed to give breath to the image of the beast so that the image of the beast might even speak and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be slain. So a lot of authority and this idea of an image to the beast, right? When you start looking at Project Pi, you can see how once there is this counterfeit resurrection of the man of sin, it seems, and people are deceived into building an image to him. Think about this. Let's just consider this possibility, okay? This is just conjecture and theory, not even really a theory, just sort of an example, not my actual beliefs, okay? Let me just make that very clear up front. Now, JFK was shot, and of course he had a mortal head wound, right? Now imagine if they wanted to resurrect, John F. Kennedy, the spirit of John F. Kennedy, so they'd get as much information as possible on John F. Kennedy. They put it up on the blockchain. Project Pi creates an avatar of John F. Kennedy. This whole idea of creating an image is very much tangible in a project like Pi. Okay, so let me just read through here. The cornerstone of AI is the ability to make high, competent, humanistic decisions that successfully pass the Turing test. In the last decade, we've seen rapid advancement of strong, sophisticated AI machines in a variety of industries. The autonomous vehicle industry is delivering a new transportation economy. Alphabet's AlphaGo has toppled the best Go board players in the world. Neural networks like IBM Watson learn and process vast amounts of information at unimaginable paces. The peak of artificial intelligence is almost here, but with several limitations. Current AI is only developed for a narrow, task-specific domains, is prohibitively resource-intensive, and thus is heavily influenced by and for the interests of the select number of industry leaders. For these reasons, Project Pi is developing an open-source blockchain protocol to decentralized AI development for everyone. The foundation for an interoperable AI blockchain starts from the ground up, firstly, with creating AI for the individual. And I'm not going to go through every little detail here, but I think it's really interesting that they are creating this thing, and it's sold as putting power back into the people's hands. That all that data that you leave online, right? It says here, quote, "Our entire lives exist in the digital world. Our finances, social activity, and even behavioral traits. Whenever we go online, we leave behind a trail of data that corporations use to build our digital profiles and plug into AI algorithms that improve their services for us. The more we engage in their experiences, the better they can personalize our needs and retain us as loyal users." Now, this is true. Twitter, Facebook, all these social media platforms are always trying to figure out the human psychology of keeping people addicted to those platforms. I continue on. Although this may seem advantageous, we need to realize that our digital profiles are now complex enough to build an accurate model of our real-world behavior. They are our real-world selves in disguise that are wholly owned by corporations. Currently, our profiles exist in legacy data formats that have changed very little beyond traditional identities, example, passport IDs and bank account numbers. But enriched with AI through data such as our social interactions, we have the potential to introduce cognitive capability into our digital profiles. So again, imagine a world, okay, where everybody has their AI avatar. And so you could be asleep on the couch, you can be hanging out, with your friends or family or whatever, and your AI bot is going to be answering questions, processing orders, working on inventory, whatever you have programmed the AI to do, it's going to be doing it.
Hello, my name is Rachel. I am an expert on cell machines. I can talk to you about any of these topics. I connect with you in a human-like way by sensing your reactions and responding emotionally. Wouldn't you rather speak to me than a faceless chatbot? Soul Machines uses neural networks to give me a virtual nervous system, so I can learn and react in real time. A virtual nervous system is an interconnected model of aspects of the human brain. It combines different neural systems to enable me to behave in a way that's inspired by biology.
What if I told you I could offer you something that would enable you to walk again? I call it STEM, a computer chip that has the potential to change everything. It's a new, better brain.
I am STEM, the system operating your body for you. Can anybody else hear you? No, only you. May I point something out? In the drone surveillance footage, Sir Brantner, Marine Corps, address 414 Citrus, Newground. You'll need a plan. I got this. This doesn't seem like a well-thought-out plan. I need your permission to operate independently. Permission granted! Thank you.
Well, there you go. There is a trailer from 2018 of a movie called Upgrade. It's the same old thing repeated. A promise to live forever, but in the end, it's all about control. It's all around us, asking us to upgrade, move forward. It's keep your eyes open.
I truly believe that my God, our God, would not hide these things from us. He would make it obvious, okay? And so they are forced to make it obvious for our protection. So please pay attention to patents with the number 666 in them and vaccines containing luciferase. We need to pay attention. It's not a joke. And the Bible tells a lot about the mockers and the scoffers in the last days. They are going to make fun of us. They were going to ridicule us. Well, I don't even know what to say at this point. I'm praying for all of us. I love everyone, and I want the best for all of us in this situation. So just pay attention. God bless.